back to the episode of Locked On Buckeye, part of Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast, and today's episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. Amazing selection, reliable low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and tell them Locked On sent you. It is Thursday, February 18th in the year 2021, and tonight, your Ohio State Buckeyes have a rematch with the Nittany Lions of Penn State. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at JStevens07. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter as well at Locked On Buckeye. Lined up for today in segment number 2, we're going to talk about the dead period that's going on right now in recruiting and when that might end. There's a possibility that Aaron Craft might return to the basketball tournament. We begin today's show with the same topic we opened the show with. I mentioned just about 15 to 20 seconds ago, your Ohio State Buckeyes have a rematch tonight with the Penn State Nittany Lions. Penn State coming off a 1-point loss to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska is easily the worst team in the Big Ten. Go to the Big Ten standings, go to watch the basketball, go to watch the film. Nebraska is down at the bottom of the conference. Penn State, not very far ahead of them. Penn State has struggles of their own. If you remember to go back to the first time the Buckeyes played Penn State, there was one individual who was not a starter, but was not available in that game, and he is a key piece of this team's success. Sam Sessoms, point guard coming off of the bench. Pretty much their CJ Walker role, but CJ Walker is better. And it all looks like Sam Sessoms will be back in this game for Penn State in the matchup against Nebraska. Going over a few stats for Penn State and then just kind of give you my quick analysis of what I think Ohio State needs to do in this game to win. It's not very hard, not very difficult. But Sam Sessoms in the most recent game against Nebraska, 17 minutes, only scored 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting from the field. That was off the bench. Lundy was the leader in points off the bench with 8. He was also the bench player that had the most minutes as well with 18 minutes. Penn State, Jones had scored 18 points. Dredd scored 14 points. Brockington, 11 points. All 3 guys, all 3 names that I think Buckeyes should be familiar with tonight. When thinking about a rematch with any team, especially when you beat them the first time you play, you're thinking, okay, what do we need to do? Do we need to change anything? Do we need to ramp certain things up? Should we try a different scheme? Was it something that we did previously on the court that would help us be very successful, more successful, and to really become out victorious in this game? To me, it's very simple. Ohio State, just play your game. Sorry, not as simple as that. The Buckeyes have had a tendency, more often than not, too many times, to, at times during the game, play down to their opponent. May it be in Indiana, may it be Minnesota, or may it be certain teams that are not better than the Buckeyes, and the Buckeyes somehow, for some reason, have mental lapse, mental lulls, and find themselves having to scratch and claw or maybe come back against a team that they shouldn't have to come back against. Penn State can attack you. Their guard play is good. Looking, honestly, to me, Dwayne Washington Jr., how are you on the defensive end? If your shot is not falling early or if the offense isn't flowing freely for the Buckeyes and Penn State is able to attack in different ways, get players like Liddell, Young, or Key in foul trouble, what do you do mentally? Do you stay mentally locked in? Are you focused the entire time? Or are you falling back and saying, I don't know, it's a little tough, a little adversity, I don't like it. Looking ahead to the matchup on Sunday against the team up north, which you can't do. I do believe the Buckeyes in this game tonight, they do win the game. I honestly believe that. No questions asked. This isn't me saying that and then like some other games where I say the winner and then ultimately the winner of the picker of the game that I think or who I think will win, my pick is wrong. It isn't like that. No, sir, Bob. I truly, truly believe that Ohio State will win tonight. And with the Big Ten Conference Tournament coming, not looking ahead to those matchups, just knowing that it's right around the corner, and the NCAA Tournament coming, now looking ahead to those matchups, just knowing it's right around the corner. I do also believe in Chris Holtmann. I do believe that Chris Holtmann will have his team focused and ready the entire time for this game. There are times in every season you play games, you play teams, you're better than them. Think about in the football season, Michigan State. Ohio State had losses that Harry Miller had to move from left guard to center. You had guys playing at different positions. You had guys starting that hadn't started a game all year long, so on and so forth. The Buckeyes could have gone ahead and said, "Look, we're going to throw in a towel. We're going to forget everything. We're going to act like, oh man, yeah, this is a walkthrough, a literal figure, not a figuratively a walkthrough. It's literally a walkthrough, and just walking through the Michigan State Spartans." With Michigan State, yes, they were bad, but if you don't play your game, they can beat you because, well, they did win at least one game this year. I don't know if it was two. I know they won at least one game during the season. Tonight's all about Ohio State. Ohio State plays their game. Ohio State does what they need to do. Ohio State stays focused. This could be a 20-point blowout. Yes, not looking for clickbait, not looking for anything to say, oh, this is a headliner. Nothing like that. You are the number 4 team in the country. Tonight, once again, it's a time for you to show everyone, even if it's a lesser opponent, that you deserve that ranking. Some people might not think you do. Some people, fans and media, might be looking ahead to the game on Sunday. One game at a time. And that game is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time against the Penn State Nittany Lions, where I truly believe the Buckeyes show everyone, once again, that they are one of the best teams in the country. We're going to step away very quickly. When we come back, we're going to talk about the dead period in college football and why it may be frustrating certain recruits. RockAuto.com is a family business serving auto parts customers online for 20 years. Go to RockAuto.com to shop for auto and body parts for hundreds of manufacturers. They have everything from engine control modules and brake parts to tail lamps, motor oil, and even new carpet. Whether it's for your classic or daily driver, get everything you need in a few easy clicks delivered directly to your door. The RockAuto.com catalog is unique and remarkably easy to navigate. Quickly see all the parts available for your vehicle and choose brands, specifications, and prices you prefer. Best of all, prices at RockAuto.com are always reliably low, and the same for professionals and do-it-yourselfers. Go to RockAuto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com. Get more of the sports news you need in less time with our new Locked On Today podcast. Peter Bukowski hosts Locked On Today, a daily podcast breaking down the biggest stories with analysis from our local experts. Start your day with all the sports news you need in under 20 minutes. Subscribe to Locked On Today wherever you get your podcast. This may be your first time watching or listening to Locked On Buckeyes, and if it is, I want to say welcome. This may be your first time in a long time watching or listening to the podcast, and I want to say welcome back. For those of you that are saying watching, I didn't know this was a video podcast as well. WKYC in Cleveland, via the acquisition or Tegna acquiring the Locked On Podcast Network, WKYC in Cleveland and Locked On Buckeyes have been working in this podcast that's coming at you 5 days a week via an audio form and a video form as well via WKYC, their YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe to the WKYC YouTube page or Locked On Buckeyes, or whatever podcast listening app you utilize on a regular basis so you don't miss a beat. Locked On Buckeyes is coming at you with a fresh episode every Monday through Friday. The dead period in recruiting. Think about a time in your life, or think about you being someone that says, well, I have an important decision to make. I have to make a decision about my life, about my future, about my career, and I want to visit whatever place it is that I want to visit in regards to the decision that needs to be made. But there's something in the way. Something that somebody else is hindering. It's saying, nope, can't do that now. Nope, can't do that now. Nope, keep waiting. Gotta push it back. And think about you're trying to make plans with somebody else, and there's somebody else in the way saying, nope, can't happen right now. You would probably get really, really frustrated. And for recruits of the 2022 recruiting class, they might be a little frustrated right now because the dead period that was going on in collegiate sports or college football, I know, that was a problem because they wanted to go ahead and visit the program, go there, get tours, talk to the coaches, all that stuff you do when you visit a school that you might attend to play collegiate sports or just simply attend just to take classes. Not even just sports, just to take classes. When I was going to school, college I went to Christian University in Tampa, Florida. And I wanted to make sure that I visited the school that I went to. Now, I went to one in Florida. I visited one in Oklahoma. I think I visited one other one. And then when I went to Florida, I said, first off, I'm from Indiana. So you take a Midwestern boy, an Indiana boy, love basketball, but hate the cold weather, down to Florida, sunshines, palm trees in January. Now I ain't going April, May, or June. No, sorry, Bob. This is in January. And I'm sitting here like, ooh, wait, I like this. Now, there are other factors involved in why I chose the school. It wasn't just the weather, but the weather is a great selling point. It's the same thing for these kids, these athletes. The dead period has not allowed them to get the proper on-campus experience that they would like. Some thought that the dead period would end around April 15th with the spring game potentially being scheduled for April 17th for Ohio State this year, potentially not set in stone. And now if the spring game does happen on April 17th with the dead period being extended to May 31st, it's February 18th. The dead period being extended to May 31st, well, those kids on camp, those recruits, they want to visit the school. They can't have communication with the coaches. They can't get a tour. They can't have the regular on-campus or spring training experience for a recruit simply because of the dead period. This is what Chairman of the NCAA Division I Council Athletic Directors said, M. Grace Calhoun, about this decision to extend the dead period. Quote, after careful consideration of all available information, the council agreed that an extension of the dead period through May 31st was necessary. However, this is a strong commitment to use the next several weeks to outline the transition plan back to recruiting activities post June 1st and to provide those plans to prospective student athletes, their family, and the NCAA membership no later than April 15th. So you're going to have approximately a little less than 2 months to get all this information put together, ironed out, get all the kinks out, get all the wrinkles out of it, so the athletes and their parents can have all the information needed so that they can potentially know when they can make the transition, make the move, and when they can potentially be able to get the proper acclimation, get the proper visit, so their young athlete, 16, 17, maybe 18-year-old young person, can be able to say, I like this school over that school. Why? These are the reasons. I like this school over that school. Why? Well, here's the reasons. Well, Ohio State over Alabama. Why? And these are the reasons. Well, I want to visit Ohio State and Alabama. Alabama has this. I know. I've already seen it. Ohio State doesn't. I don't know what Ohio State has. I want to make my decision before the dead period is over. When can I do? Now I have to make my own time schedule and change things up. And mentally you're like, why is it so difficult? And then it's like, wait, class of 2022. I have a whole nother football season in high school to play. Do I need to rush things? Do I need to move a little bit faster? Will it take a weight off of my shoulders if I wait until July, August, maybe September, maybe week 5, week 6 of the high school football season? Will it take a weight off my shoulder if I wait that long? If I just keep going because we all have heard people, athletes, some will commit to a school verbally, decommit, and then right before they sign a national letter of intent, they go ahead and sign with somebody else. So I get it. Making the decision early for some people, it does help them. It does help them relax and clear their mind and have no extra anything else on their mind in regards to making a decision. Some call it stress. Some just call it a walk in the park. Some may call it just living life every day. We all make decisions. When I was 15, 16, 17, I had to make decisions. Now, granted, I will say myself, when I decided what school to go to, I was not getting a scholarship to play D1 college football in the Big Ten in a Power 5 at one of the most prestigious programs in college football, maybe Ohio State or any other ones that are in the top tier of college football right now. I was not there. So I personally do not know what these young men are going through or what their parents are going through or what their families are going through or even what the coaches are going through right now, knowing they can't do things like they're used to. But wait, so 2020, we had to make adjustments. 2021, the coaches are still making adjustments. So it's very, very interesting. Yes, a dead period is not fun. I don't like the dead. I understand why it's there. I understand the precaution. I understand the need to still hinder some things as far as athletes moving. I get that. But this whole year, we're rolling with the punches. We're making adjustments. The normal curveball that life has thrown at people every now and then, we're just rolling with it, baby. We're moving forward. Now, yes, it's not fun to do that when we have plans, exciting plans that we have been looking forward to for some time now. But sometimes life throws some odd situations at you. You got to dodge that thing like you're playing dodgeball and keep on going. Dead period, got to extend it to May 31st. It's a long time. It is a long time for these athletes to, one, get better as an athlete, but then two, find other ways to learn about the programs that they may choose to play collegiate football at. One more timeout, guys. When we come back, going to turn back to the basketball, and this time, a young man by the name of Aaron Craft. Will he come back to play in the basketball tournament? Have you not heard about the basketball tournament? Stick around. We'll fill you in on what that is as well. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. Football might be over, but NBA, college basketball, and the NHL are in full swing. BetOnline even covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV. Real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. BetOnline has you covered for all the news, scores, and odds. It's easily the best way to place your bets, and it's free to sign up. Head to betonline.ag on your computer or mobile device and use promo code LOCKEDON to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Once again, that is promo code LOCKEDON. That is LOCKEDON to receive your 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, your online sports book experts. There's simply no better place to get all the news on the Big Ten Conference than with Big Ten Ben Stevens and the Locked On Big Ten podcast. Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, if it's happening in the Big Ten, Ben's got you covered with an in-depth look at the conference every Monday through Friday. Subscribe to Locked On Big Ten wherever you get your podcast. There's something very, very interesting in regards to that podcast Locked On Big Ten right now. That ad read one, the baseball schedule just came out for all of the Big Ten teams. Number two,